Namaste, Galactic family. Welcome back to the channel, IndigoAngel. Come on into this dimension. And if you are returning, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that notifications bell, comment and share this video, put a big like on this video today, and come on into this quick energy update. I wanted to be able to touch bases with everyone before going into the next weekend's course teachings. So I have slowed down a little bit with content creation on YouTube just a bit, but I just wanted to, again, touch bases with everyone, just let you know I'm still here, but I've been really busy doing extensive deep dives in the course teachings on the course platform Thinkific. And that's at learn.indigoangel222.com. So I just wanted to genuinely thank and show some gratitude and love and appreciation for all of my beautiful students in the implant and seal removal course. You all are so amazing. We have been having so much fun. We have officially completed 2 out of the 4 seal systems, and we have one more weekend to cover the feminine and masculine implant systems from the Lemurian timeline. The implant systems that do most heavily affect the gender disposition, gender identity, gender ideology, the sexual and reproductive aspects of the body, major sacral chakra clearing, that pertains to all of the core world wounding and all of the genocidal acts that have occurred within the last seeding of the Lemurian timeline. So within these implant removal systems, we do some regression work and also a lot deeper levels of healing work in Golden Temple technology that is Lemurian healing technology that has ultimately allowed us to do some much deeper Akashic record transformation and clearing. So you guys can still enroll in the course and make the 2 additional live class days and practice the instruction sets. And currently all of the downloads and replays are available and uploaded to the course website from the previous weekend of the 2 seal systems, J seal removal and the DAO seal removal sessions, the Draco seal removals. Basically, that's what those are, Draco seals. So this has really been a couple genuinely amazing last couple of days spent with everyone in the class. My heart has filled with joy and excitement multiple times with how much dedication everyone has had to learning the teachings, and the involvement in the practice and breakout rooms has just been so cool to use that option, to be using that feature on Zoom. At first I was like stuck in some of the rooms and I was like, how do I get out of here? But it really does take the interactive experience on Zoom to the next level. It's so cool. If you've used breakout rooms on Zoom, drop it down in the comments and just let me know what you think about them. They're kind of a fun thing to incorporate, and they're working really well for the course practice dynamic. And so because of that, I have been able to observe everyone putting in the instruction set and the study guides to the implant systems into action. And I can go in and out of the rooms and I can watch the practicing. And it's just been so spectacular to watch. Everyone is doing so good. The only thing, though, about all of this is those of you who may be in the course that are watching this video today, I really would like to ultimately encourage more participation in the breakout rooms. This is the time we get to really build confidence and dissolve any fears that we may have around your capabilities in removing seals and implants, in your capabilities as a healer, as a facilitator, and just really empower that experience that fuels confidence in your delivery, right? And that style of healing that you want to implement in your practices. So the breakout rooms are really to get past the overthinking aspect of, stressing out, and just attempt to apply the methodology that is laid out. So I can really assure you, many in the beginning of the breakout rooms and the attempts to practice were really nervous, but they quickly realized that once they tried it, it wasn't so hard, it wasn't so bad. And so the fear kind of dissolved and the confidence came in and everyone was feeling really good about it. And what's even more amazing is just through the practicing, I think everyone was truly receiving and feeling the clearings, getting additional deeper clearing work and healing work that was coming through just from practicing. So that was really, really a cool aspect about it. And I think overall, this time spent teaching and sharing my knowledge and gifts and spiritual education, it really has exponentially shifted and lifted and elevated me to the next level. And I wasn't even expecting that. So it's really been helping me to feel more motivated and just revealing a lot of clarity for my planning of my year in 2024, because we really do have a lot of big plans to come for this following year. I am feeling so driven, more than I ever have, with wanting to organize bigger location sites for Gridwork. So I just wanted to give a bit of my overview for planning upcoming courses and events for the rest of 2023 and 2024. We are going to really attempt to bring forth bigger revelations within the Gridwork. So I want to discuss all of the Gridwork goals that we have for 2024. And I know those of you who have joined me on missions in the past, you may be interested in what we are planning for 2024. They're things we've been tentatively talking about, but we're now ready to start, putting forth the actions that can really make these things come to life, and where we can really actually host these events. So nothing is actually officially up on my main website just yet at IndigoAngel222.com, but I did set our next course, which will be a Gridwork Facilitator 2. And all of the Gridworker events, they are actually up for pre-sale, pre-registration on the Thinkific platform at learn.indigoangel222.com. Of course, I'm going to put everything that I talk about today down in the description. So if you are interested in just going to the site and seeing what we are going to start planning and preparing for, go to learn.indigoangel222.com and you can save your spot for these particular events and the upcoming course that we're going to be doing in January 2024. So also, I think it's really imperative that if you like what I'm doing and you're considering participating and being involved in the things that I have going on, it's always good to sign up at my website, IndigoAngel222.com, for my email notifications. And you want to sign up to receive those email newsletters that we put out every month. So that way you'll know when all opportunities become available. So I'm kind of just going to break some stuff down for you guys. What I'm actually up to currently. I'm going to be taking it easy through October. My birthday's coming up in October, but in November, I have a trip to Algeria, November 2023. So I'm going to be going there for about a month. And I'm so excited about this, you guys. I've actually been thinking about this for the last 6 months, preparing this particularly. There's a lot of reasons to go to Algeria. One is because it's actually the largest country in North Africa. And what's amazing about it, and what people don't really know, is that it's filled with a ton of secrets of Atlantis. So when I go there, I'm going to actually be putting together a deep dive activation and a devotional about the life of the original goddess of Atlantis, in which her name was Tin Hinan. I have spoken about her before in some of the deep dives that I have done with Marguerite Regaglioso, PhD scholar of parthenogenesis creation. And so we've really gone into me and her, the accounts, and I'll actually leave a link to the video that I did with Marguerite of the mother goddesses of like humanity, like Neith, Medusa, Teen Hinan. So we've spoken about this before in past videos and gone extensively into the information about it. But it's a lot of people don't know about this goddess Teen Hinan. So I want to go deep dive it. Teen Hinan, essentially, she was a Berber queen who was said to be the last surviving goddess of this time. And she was a part of the reestablishment of civilization beyond the fall of Atlantis. She escaped the fall of Atlantis, essentially, through the difficulties of the Sahara Desert and patriarchal domination and control. And so she, it's really interesting. There's not a lot of information on her, but we do believe that she's shared similar mythology with the goddesses Neith, the oldest ancient Egyptian account for the mother goddess who began it all, the goddess in which Medusa ultimately was loyal to. Okay, and so I do believe that going to Algeria is going to bring forth more profound revelations and also allow me to channel the energy, as so much comes through when your boots on the ground. And I just really want to be able to define this goddess's energy and really connect into the land of Algeria. So in Algeria, there's actually a grave site that was found of Teen Hinan. Her body was like perfectly found in this site with all of her jewels, all of her, wealth and stuff that they buried her with. But she was, I guess, pretty perfectly preserved. And her gravesite is actually, it's, I think, one of the only living grave sites of a goddess that still exists today, where they actually have her bones, they have her skeleton. So I'm going to be visiting this to get more information, to get just as much insight about it as I can, because I do feel that this represents an astronomical hidden history in the uncovering of the details of Atlantis. And what I love about this goddess the most was that she was tall. Okay, I guess said that she was a very tall woman. Her bones were found in her grave, very long and delicate like. And so I really just resonate with her. As you guys, some who have met me know that I am also tall. And so I just find a lot of similarity of myself with her energy already. And I'm just really looking forward to taking this on, you guys. So what you can expect from me in November from the Algerian trip is you can expect a creative visual graphic art piece highlighting the story of Teen Hinan and Atlantis. You guys know how I've done these in the past. My most recent one in last December, was of Medusa. And prior to that, I did a Stargate activation in Machu Picchu. And prior to that, I did the goddess Shera in ancient Egypt, in the White Desert and the Black Desert outside of Cairo in Egypt. So you guys know I go all out for these creative visual graphic art pieces. You can also expect North African goddess tribute to Medusa, Neith, and Teen Hinan. You can expect upcoming cosmic grid updates on North Africa. And you can also expect current energy updates highlighting Atlantis, the Atlas Mountains, the Jinn Eye, which is the Nissanian pentagram in Algeria, which is a very activated vortex in Algeria, said to be potentially the portal responsible for the fall of Atlantis. So we're going to be investigating that. Possibly getting to the deserts of Safar, which is a very well hidden and kept jewel of the Sahara, is what it's actually called. It's actually called the Jewel of the Sahara, which is supposed to be the most beautiful place in the Sahara. and also going to Teen Hinon's gravesite. So it's interesting how I'm called to do this work. Never thought in a million years I would be called to the lands of Algeria, but this will be an epic discovery into the protected unseen lands that hold many secrets to Atlantis, you guys. The Atlas Mountains run directly through the northern portion of it, of Algeria. And so I just can't wait to report on this and bring these treasures up to the surface. I am inviting you to tag along with me on YouTube. As you know from, again, many of the deep dives and travels in the past, every time I go somewhere that is of a different culture, of a different country, I bring forth some of my best and most exciting work. I extensively decode the lands. I extensively decode the vortices, the stargates, the ley lines, the anomalies, and all of the relative spiritual depths that pertain to that location. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually have a donation link up in the description. And I'm also putting this donation link on the front page of my website. So if you feel motivated to donate to support to this cause, I can tell you what I'm uncovering is something no one else has ever uncovered before, at least in English. Okay, guys, the resources to this stuff is slim to none. So I think I'm going to be kind of at the forefront in some ways of decoding this on an English level, because the resources to Goddess Teen Hinan, it's rare and limited because ultimately the French colonized Algeria. And so everything that has been written about this history, about Teen Hinan, was written in French literature. So in order to even get information on this stuff, you have to be able to read French. You have to be able to decode the French language. So I feel like I'm on a little bit of a wild chase into the unknown, trying to decode the mysteries of Atlantis. But I really feel like these efforts are worth it, as this is stuff that just, I feel like I'm tapping into a reservoir of just all kinds of potentials of what could come forward within this. And so these type of efforts really require a lot of resources to fund and make them happen. So every little bit that, you know, you can assist with, it just makes a super difference for me and my team that will be working on this stuff and putting all of this together. So I just want to say, whoever donates to the Teen Hinan Fund will receive a special shout out on my YouTube channel while I'm traveling in Algeria. So I'll be putting out content. I'll be blogging. I'll also still be taking clients as well. I'm going to make time for that while I'm there, as I am going to be there for 4 weeks. So there'll be plenty of time to also take sessions and stuff like that. So if you want to book with me while I'm in Algeria, you want to look into the second and third week of November. That's when I'll be there. And it'll be a good time too, because I can give those direct transmissions from the land codes, which is always fun to bring forward in session work as well. So the next thing that I have coming soon in December is I'm also going to be hosting a winter solstice Christmas chakra clearing party 2023. This is going to be a smaller Zoom holiday party that I ultimately wanted to be able to do last year. You guys may had remember me talking on YouTube about doing a live on Saturnalia, right? Do you remember when I was talking about that? But then what happened was I just got sick. I got sick in Rome. Oh my gosh, I came down with the La Cucaracha. I got the plague. So this year I want to offer our community to come together during that primary gateway to the metagalactic core during the winter solstice, getting closer to Christmas. And I just want to offer to come and drink some eggnog, some tea, some hot cocoa with our galactic family. And let's dive in, you guys. Let's get into, at that winter solstice chakra clearing party, let's talk about the philosophies, the beliefs, and the deeper meanings of Christmas, going into Saturnalia, going into Saturn worship, original pagan traditions, and the Roman Empire's influence on Christmas beliefs and why we even have Christmas today. And so the first half of the class day for the winter solstice chakra clearing party, it's going to be a more profound private group discussion that can help vent some frustrations also around corruption, around the superficial collective focus of Christmas and the materialism during the holidays. So that way we can find some like-mindedness and support, as I know it really can be difficult for many of us to feel like we are just in between those worlds, right? Because a lot of us have children, and our children don't understand these customs and these beliefs, and why, you know, mom or dad may be feeling like drawing out of the participation in these things, but then you still feel called to participate in it, and just creating more crucifixion and persecution wounding to reimplant itself. So there's a whole bunch of chaos that ultimately ensues energetically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually when we get close to the holidays. And so and it's just because we're bound by the desires of our loved ones as we continue to try to break free from that ever dissolving and limiting matricy implant systems built inside us, from the frequency fences and all of the artificial timelines that are superimposed upon us. So I want to be able to provide this space where we can really come together as a community and talk about these things. And then in the second part of the class on the winter solstice chakra clearing party, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to work on those chakras on the micro multidimensional level. We're going to talk about how best to clear your own chakras. We're going to get into more profound levels of understanding dimensions and bioenergetic anatomy, and how to facilitate chakra clearings for yourself and for friends and for clients as well. I'm going to give you everything that I know and everything that I've been working on when it comes to chakra clearing over the years. And it's going to be offered as a 2-part Zoom session and chakra clearing class on the winter solstice. So I'm just putting the word out now. It's already up on the website. If you want to attend this, you can sign up at IndigoAngel222.com under the services tab. I do believe it, last time I checked, it was a little under construction, but I'm pretty sure all of the sign up aspect is there, and the Zoom links are already ready and available. So you can find that on the website, and I'll also leave that down in the description. Everything again that I talk about today is down in the descriptions. And it's what I said in the beginning, was that I will be doing a Gridwork Facilitator 2 course. Okay, guys, this has come from high demand and request. Several people have asked me if I'm going to do another. And the answer is yes. Yes, yes, yes. I think it's only imperative that as we continue to qualify and as we continue to quantify those who are ready to expand into gridwork facilitation, getting people to the next level of that global planetary shamanic work, that we do another gridwork facilitator course to keep it all fresh, and also to expand off of the previous coursework that we did. So the dates for the Gridwork Facilitator Course 2 is going to be January 31st, 2024 through February 2nd, 2024. I'm going to do a 3-day live class event with group Gridwork session on the last class day, class 6. So if you want to pencil out these dates on your calendar and see if this is something you can make, I think it's going to be really cool, because in the Gridwork Facilitator 2 course, Not only are you going to gain in-depth knowledge in implementing high-level gridwork experiences in your remote and boots-on-the-ground gridwork sessions with all of the critical techniques and methodologies known to bring forth significant planetary changes and revolution. And I think this is coming at a time where we've had a lot of infiltration in the gridworker community. We've had a lot of manipulation. We've had a lot of accusations of malpractice. And so this is just a way to combat those forces by truly getting the technology to know that you are, in fact, doing grid work in a way that is conducive to the highest good, the highest healing, and the highest timeline of this planet and humanity. And so this course will cover all basics, all vital points taught in the first Gridwork facilitation course in 2022-2023, last year's course, which is still available if you want to take that. But we're going to have much more expansion into more profound topics, subject matters of gridwork, such as expanded gridwork fundamentals, extended gridwork anatomy, gridwork malpractice. We will be going over that. Detailed reversal Stargate mechanics, as I have a lot more intel on this, having gone to 2 reversal Stargate locations and performed extraction of negative alien machinery and all of the things that come along with this. So we're going to go into that as well, preparing, teaching people the proper preparations for reversal clearings. We're going to talk about star forts and grid work and architecture, which is a new thing that we're going to be bringing to the table as well. Having decoded so much of the architecture within Stargate sites and specific locations that we've worked on, we've really gotten much more clarity on how to work within the architecture of buildings and things like this. So we're going to be bringing so much forward and so much more. So the focus of this course will be to excel past the previous course teachings and upgrade to the next level of gridwork abilities. So I hope my students from the first course do come back for the second and join me for round 2. And if you're new to this and you just want to take Gridwork Facilitator 2 course, it's not required to take the prior Gridwork Facilitator course, only recommended if you feel like you want to get the full rounded picture, right? But you can also just come into this course where you're at and as is. And this course is already on pre-order sale on my website at learn.indigoangel222.com. So if you want to get a jump start with saving your spot for that course. Now, the details are not laid out on the pre-orders, just the pre-orders basically are there and available. So as we get closer to the coursework events and everything, much more details will be uploaded as we go. And you may have noticed that's a little bit how I work. I work in divine alignment. I work in divine timing. So everything I do is in alignment with what's happening. So even with the implant and seal removal course, I essentially have just been really uploading things as I go. I mean, even up until the Draco seal removal systems teachings of the last day of last weekend, I uploaded things that morning. So it's all about just like feeling and intuiting and going along as it makes sense to build that. So that's kind of my explanation of how I work within space-time, essentially. Okay, so now the next thing I want to talk about, you guys, is let's talk about the Gridwork events for 2024. Okay, we are organizing at this moment to take on the next Reversal Stargate site. You guys already, pretty much, if you've been following and watching all of my energy updates, cosmic grid updates, you'll know what I'm talking about. As we know how under attack indigos and starseeds are in Los Angeles, California. There's a great reality divide that's existing there. There's multiple overlays and overlapping tangible reality bubble spheres that really separate mentalities, that separate human community and shared likeness. And there's also a major drug and addiction problem that's going on there. That's another thing that I kind of wanted to get into just a little bit towards the end of this update today, was to talk about some questions that were actually came forward in the implant seal removal course about addiction. So it's really kind of, again, pointed me back to Los Angeles, where we have the biggest degraded drug and addiction problem in our entire nation. And also homelessness. I mean, there's so much going on there, you guys. We know that this is a harvesting site. This is more like a Trinity Gate site. So this is an actual loosh station. This is where they really feed the beast mechanics and beast machines of the earth. And it really is a playground to the controllers, to the handlers, to the men in black, to the Agent Smiths. Okay. In Washington, D.C. So in Washington, D.C., this is where all the swamp rats really go to entertain their SRA. Okay. And artificial intelligence is also ultimately altering the silicate matrix biofield of the globe. Really crazy here in California, running out of Silicon Valley. And I have done a really extensive deep dive on this information as well. I'll leave the links down in the description, essentially, to that video. You can go watch it. Basically, the Google corporation is a giant spaceship. And we've had boots on the ground there a couple times in some of our remote sessions where people were actually on location down there at Silicon Valley, and just how creepy the energy is around some of these tech facilities and things like this. So it's time to go to California. It's time to go to LA. This will be our next destination. I'm calling it LA in May. So that's when we're going, is in May 2024. This is going to be a major reversal Stargate correction gridwork event. We're going to be hitting multiple locations in California, such as hopefully and potentially the Bohemian Grove, however close we can get to that to do some work, Silicon Valley to extract SRA and damaging alien machinery. So if this is something you may feel called to, or even live in California, this might be something you'd be called to. But for those of us who aren't, this is going to require travel and airfare. But you're going to want to prepare for Gridwork events on May 9th, May 10th, May 11th, 2024. Mother's Day on the 12th is going to be optional for anyone who wants to stay. We will do something special on that day, and it's going to be about paying homage to our Earth Mother somewhere in beautiful California. I'm not sure where we'll do it, but as we get closer, again, itinerary will start to reveal itself. So the major reversal Stargate corrections, though, will be made in Los Angeles on Friday, May 10th, 2024. So we're going to assemble a very adequate and adept guardian team to rehabilitate, rescue, and restore one of the most degraded vortex sites on the Earth known to man, which is Los Angeles, California. So this event is on pre-order sale on my website at learn.indigoangel222.com. Again, details are not there in terms of everything that you would need to know specifically about the events of the days. But all of that's going to be built as we get closer to the event work, as just this is how divine timing does. But we want to be able to get it at least up so people can start thinking about planning this, and also signing up and enrolling as well, as we do have payment options available, and really good payment options, like making this very, very affordable. So also to prepare for LA and to prepare for that trip coming up in May, what I typically like to do is I like to do a lot of pre-work, a lot of pre-scouting, a lot of preparation, a lot of preparing. So to prepare for this offering of the Boots on the Ground mission in LA in May, we will begin pre-scouting LA and California grid network. So I'm going to be hosting a remote session this month on the 18th, September 18th at 1 p.m. CDT. And we are calling it Las Vegas to LA Gridwork Mission. Given Las Vegas is also a reversal gate site, it's a place that I ultimately would like to go for grid work at some point, but right now we're going to also include it in some of the pre-scouts of California, and also just because of the current events of Burning Man. So I know a lot of you really heard about what was going on with Burning Man, how it really came to a halt due to the rains and the mud and everything that happened. So it's kind of cluing us in really to these specific satanic river lines of the earth. This is definitely one of them, even though it's not in the same place as Las Vegas, but we do want to include Las Vegas in this clearing work that we're going to be doing on September 18th, 2023 at 1 p.m. CDT. So if you want to sign up for this remote session and join our team, you can sign up for this under the services tab on my website as well. And I'll just actually screen share with you guys so you can see the two main things that I have under the services tab. So if you go to IndigoAngel222.com, you're going to scroll down here to all the way to the bottom. Okay, and so Las Vegas to LA Gridwork Mission, reversal pre-scout and deep grid clearing on September 18th at 1 p.m. CDT. We do this for about 3 hours, so we're going to really dive in to try to get some extensive intel. I'll also probably be pairing this with a cosmic grid update that I'll put out before we actually do this pre-scout. So if you're considering doing the event in May in 2024, you may also want to consider attending this remote session to see what comes up as we really tune in here for deeper clearing. And then also, if you come down just a little bit further, this is the chakra clearing class winter solstice party that I was talking about, our Christmas chakra clearing party 2023. This is going to go about 5 hours, maybe 6 hours total on the winter solstice. So if you'd like to join me for this class, 2-part class, this is where you can sign up for this one here. So also wanted to tell you guys, definitely last but not least, our most exciting Gridwork finale event for 2024. So we will be going to Kuai, Hawaii in 2024. This is an inner Earth Stargate clearing that we're going to do. This is going to be a really, really powerful one for healing. This is not considered a reversal Stargate. So this is going to be the first time I'm doing something that's not a reversal Stargate since Machu Picchu. So it'll be went to an ascending Stargate, then I'm going to hit up 3 reversal Stargates, and now I'm going back to something that I think will be much more profound in terms of spiritual growth on the earth. This will be a Lemurian revival and a Golden Temple Island healing. So we'll be utilizing that Golden Temple technology and healing aspect of the Lemurian time and bringing it to Kuai, Hawaii. This is a 12th dimensional activation, Stargate activation site, inner Earth gate site. So it's going to be pretty profound, you guys. We are going to be really working on the inner Earth gate sites while we're there to correct all the negative energy inside of the planet, to extract and to clear using a lot of sound healing. We're going to bring forward a lot when it comes to this. This will be a multiple island vortex locations that we'll be working on, and that will be access to correct the inner Earth spiritual body and to extract planetary weaponry. So this is a massive and extraordinary gridwork event that will take our gridwork to the height of its potential with planetary healing. We are getting this information out now because it is exactly 1 year out from today. So it's important that we start to get this information out to you guys so everyone can prepare if they think that they will be able to attend the event. It's going to be, we have decided on dates, September 13th through the 16th. So 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th. It will be 4 days of grid work on the island together. And this is going to be massive and extraordinary grid work event. So yeah, this is going to take us to the height of its potential within planetary healing. This is also on pre-order sale on my website at learn.indigoangel222.com. I want to give people enough time to really prepare and plan for this. If you think this is an event that you're going to be able to make, if you're going to be able to make it to Kuai, Hawaii, it's interesting because a lot of people have tried to discourage me from going to Kauai. They're like, why don't you go to one of the other islands or go work on a different area? But as you guys know from the events that just happened with the fires, I think Hawaii is just, it's calling, it's on the agenda. It's been calling for a while. Kauai was the exact island in which the Lemurian Holocaust did play out and take place. So we would be going directly to the island of where that Holocaust took place to heal and clear those lands. So this is really, again, this is important. This is us really stepping up into the shamanic levels of planetary healing and gridwork abilities. And this is really at the core of my heart. I think with all the Lemurian work that I've done over the years, trying to bring forth the truth and all the corruption that had happened in that timeline, really revealing everything about Lemuria, which, by the way, it reminds me I need to get a video out about the history of Lemuria, which I have multiple on my channel already. So again, I'll leave some links in the description to these videos, as I do want to be able to share some of the previous work that I've done on it. I mean, I don't even know if anything I could do today could top what I've already put out. I've put out so much extensive stuff on the history of Lemuria. So, but I still will put something out. I think as we get closer to this particular event in September 2024, more Lemurian content is going to come out. So yeah, guys, this one, again, it's on pre-order sale on my website at learn.indigoangel222.com. There's payment options available for this, also making it affordable and something that you can prepare to plan for up until the coming year. So be sure to check out all the monthly payment options on the Thinkific website to ensure that you can make it and participate in this monumental grid work. And having all of that said, you guys, that's going to kind of be the layout for 2024. Not the entire year. I'm sure we might even have some things to come in October, November, December of 2024, but this is as far as I've gotten. And there's so much in front of us that we're really motivated to achieve at this point. There's a lot of energy fueling and accelerating this that it's beyond me. It's planetary motivation and inspiration. So I'm just flowing with the currents of what I'm being guided to present and work to put together for everybody, and just trusting the divine will that this is the work of the divine to strategically place our grid workers and our star seeds in these locations, because this is what Mother Earth is calling us to do, basically. So I just want to say I feel so proud of the things that I've been able to do. I feel so proud of all of you. I feel so proud of my students. And I've just been so thankful to be able to get to do this work. It's a dream come true. It's a lot of hard work. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes that I think people don't really realize how much organization, how much resources, how much effort goes on the back, like the back side of things that you don't see that's happening and playing out. So just know that it is a full-time 24/7 job lifestyle. But I honestly wouldn't have it any other way. I feel so blessed and I'm in so much gratitude to have been allowed to learn these spiritual grid worker technologies, and also to be able to teach the things that I've discovered and created within it as well. So one of the things that have been so amazing is that the feedback on the seal and implant removal course has been absolutely outstanding. One of my students last weekend stated that it was the best course that she's ever taken and that she has taken many courses. So that comment to me, it just really meant a lot. I just want to say thank you so much for telling me that. Thank you so much for mentioning this to me, because it lets me know, like, yeah, I am on the right track with all of this. And I'm really happy that I get to be able to share it. Again, I have such a and this isn't like a prideful or egotistical thing at all. I have such a profound level of humility and humility and vulnerability and humanness within me that I feel like holding that space is what has allowed me to be able to do this stuff that I do, the work that I do. And I truly believe that that vibration, that frequency of humility, humility, vulnerability, and humanness is what allows us all to connect together and be able to expand within this as well. So it's so cool, guys. I'm having so much fun. But I wanted to touch on addiction just a little bit, because this one question did come up in the course that I thought would be good to address with everyone. Because I know a lot of people at this time are probably dealing with addiction, whether they're dealing with it themselves, whether they're dealing with it with their loved ones. I think that the times that we live in currently are very, very difficult, and that it's almost impossible for the human being to really fight through and push through and combat all of the negative things that have come against us. I mean, you've seen my last video on planetary modification technology weapons. Like, come on, you guys. Like, so yeah, I know that the current times and what people are personally experiencing are difficult as we continue to attempt to transcend all of the darkness on this earth, not making it an excuse for addiction, but that there are things that are placed in our path that are done intentionally to take us down. The reason why there's a liquor store on every single freaking corner, and it's the easiest poison to get and one of the most detrimental poisons that there is, that kills hundreds of thousands of people every single year. So one thing that someone asked in the implant and seal removal course is do these implant systems relate to addictions? And when we do implant seal removal, does it help with addiction? Okay, so that question really kind of stuck with me. And if you were in the class, you'll know I kind of was like really, taking it in and thinking about it, because I want to be able to provide a deeper explanation within this, and even kind of allude on it a little bit more than what I referred to in the class. So I wanted to address it with everyone on YouTube as well, just because I think it can help people across the board. And the answer is yes. These implant removals and even grid work itself does aim to heal addiction. It's really a lot of the underlying spiritual work and the core base degradation systems, like the implant systems, or the core base degraded infiltration that would limit one's consciousness, right? And especially if that light body, that soul, that spirit body is trying to fight that, but can't push against those caps or those implants or holographic blockages, it's definitely going to invert and collapse upon itself, so to speak. So think about how massive this clearing will be for LA. These reversal energies and all of the addiction that's running through Los Angeles, California. I think being inspired by this to understand the technicalities of what's happening nationally and globally within addiction, we're going to include a lot of special healings and collapses for those suffering through addiction in California, just to add to that, and maybe also in the remote session as well. But essentially what it is on a global level, alien implants and alien machinery, which are what these implant systems are. Okay, J seals are alien implants. Draco seals are alien implants. They're connected to alien machinery that feeds harvesting and loose sites. These are all used in critical areas of the planet to essentially instruct the human nervous system to release distress signals of oppression and control. So when we're holding these seals, we are under distress. And it's a frequency of manipulation on our total bioenergetic field to be given to feed this controller APIN network, the Atlantean Pylon Implant Network. So those distress, and that's where a lot of entities come in, a lot of lesser spirits, a lot of things that feed off of us, is because the central nervous system's in distress of oppression. And that's what I was just trying to say a second ago, was how you're fighting against these holographic blockages. Okay. And it's, in turn, you're not able to fight against the blockage, but then what is being fueled in the state of manipulation and oppression is being harvested into loose sites. So that way the controllers gain more control over the population. And that control is implemented in all ways to terrorize the human spirit and soul light body. So addiction is definitely being weaponized against us. We believe it is such a personal choice. Like, this is a personal choice, but they know what chemically alters us. They know what chemically changes brain receptors. They know what chemically changes the central nervous system. And so they provide those things for us willingly. I don't think that the DEA is what we think they are. Okay, we think that they're there to essentially clean up these things, but I think they're covert operations to actually bring substances in. Do we really believe that this fentanyl crisis that we have just came out of nowhere? Okay, right? Like, fentanyl is a powerful synthetic opioid, up to 50 times stronger than heroin and 100 times stronger than morphine. Think about that. Has anyone here actually had morphine before? I've had it one time. I was going in for, I think it was a surgery I was going to have. And they gave me morphine. The second the morphine hit my vein, my lungs started to go into like a panic and I couldn't breathe. It was so powerful. I literally thought I was going to die. I was just freaking out, breathing frantically. And the nurses and stuff were like, "Oh, this is normal. This will pass. It takes like 3 to 5 minutes or something like that to clear." And it was like my lungs were seizing and were gonna stop. Can you imagine this fentanyl? So they say just 2 milligrams of fentanyl equals 10 to 15 grains of table salt. And that alone is considered a lethal dose. So that will kill somebody. Legally manufactured. Okay, legally and illegally manufactured. Fentanyl is found in heroin, cocaine, methamphetamine, and counterfeit pills. And as a result, many people may not know that they're ingesting fentanyl, leading to accidental poisoning and death. There was some fentanyl articles that I was reading about. I really recommend, like, looking into this, because this is kind of at the core of what's eating away in the harvesting and loosh sites in LA and those grids particularly. I personally believe that our own Willy Wonka, our own DEA, our own covert dark military agendas, all of these things, that these secret organizations, that they're all secretly responsible for these systemic outbreaks of mass death campaigns, just like they are secretly accountable for releasing the La Cucaracha. I mean, we need to look at what's going on, not just because of like the plague. Like, we need to look at other aspects of humanity, other things that are killing people, that are hurting people, and realize that they're secretly behind everything. Okay. And I mean, just think about it. Who would be creating a drug so powerful, 100 times more powerful than morphine, for what? What human on earth? Do you see what I'm saying? I think they're behind these drug releases. They're behind sustaining alcohol poisoning for the collective. They're behind the La Cucaracha. They're behind the plague. They're behind the seals. They're behind the implants. They're behind the 4 horsemen. They're behind the needlecraft technology. The outbreak of these terrorizing drug poisons is no different. So that's just my take on this. Like, not making excuses for addiction, but there is a bigger crisis, I think, that's going on, and we're just now like, I'm just now personally starting to look at the entirety of this at a deeper level. I was reading articles earlier on why isn't it that alcohol is banned, and there's reasons for it, but they know it's like it's a profiteering. They're profiting off of drunk drivers. They're profiting off of these alcohol related deaths. They're profiting off of the sale of alcohol, the taxes from the sales from alcohol. They're not going to ban it. Okay, would they? I mean, we could really help people by getting rid of these things and these substances, but they're not going to, because it's all about feeding that beast machine, that harvesting and that loosh, which is the consumption of human blood. That's what it is. It equates, this financial gain equates to human blood. But either way, genetic history plays a part in the type of implant or level of psychic or energetic harassment that one receives from these network phantom pulses in the earth. And when the soul crashes, it goes to the substances and the negatives so often because they're easily provided. So the implant system's functions will impulse addiction symptoms for many reasons, primarily to continue the destructive behavior into multiple repetitions to embed deeper into the targets and make them lose the ability to truly connect to the inner voice of the higher self and completely self-destruct in loss of self-love. And that's what happens within these addictions, is that over time, it consumes the soul, it consumes the spirit body. It takes them into this deeper dark night of the soul, this underworld living life experience, and it slowly starts to kill everything in their life, every passion, every purpose, every relationship. And the more you repeat the destructive actions of addiction, the closer you are to full invasion, full possession by reptilian forces, lesser spirits, disincarnated spirits, AI, and cyborgs. And come all the way up into the point of being like completely homeless on the street. And then just you are harvested daily. You're harvested daily. That's what I mean, they want. That's what they're doing in LA, right? I mean, it's not just LA, but that's where we see it the worst. Again, why it's going to be so important that we do that grid work there. But once someone is invaded and is to that point, you are a slave to the automation to be used by these groups that can deeply function in the creeping up of your addiction pattern, and they can completely dispose of your life force this way. Many who take this path do not make it out. So if you have loved ones that are struggling with addiction, don't abandon them. Don't say, I can't deal with this, and you're just gonna have to figure out your own crap out. That's like the last thing you want to do for somebody. Like, I know there's this level of like, you can't have people take you down with them, but really, I truly recommend recovery healing facilities and centers, like checking into recovery, because those places, like, even though it may be time out of your life to have to check into a recovery facility, it may be time out of your life to have to maybe even make an investment financially, but they have real addiction therapies that are proven to help people get sober and help people get clean. And sometimes it takes people multiple times of going into them before they're successful. But really don't be afraid to look at your options. Don't be afraid to look at groups such as Narcotics Anonymous, Alcohol Anonymous, like these support groups that really do put you in supportive situations that you can get the emotional, like with people who are going through the same thing you're going through. There's no shame in any of this. Doing these types of things as resources for help. There's no shame in it at all. It's about your life at the end of the day, and what is that worth to you? Generally, a person unknowingly influenced by these implants will be driven to an obsession with whatever the addictive substance is. This can happen. It's not like this for everybody, but like if they don't have implants removed and then they're also dealing with addiction, it can really take them down. And it doesn't just have to be substances like alcohol, drugs, cigarettes, whatever. The addictions can be food, the addictions can be sexual, addictions can be all of these things. And so it's important to know your tics, it's important to know your triggers, because if you don't, it continues to burrow itself in the astral and soul body to collect more of it. And that's what happens is you become hypersensitive to the triggers and they start to take over the astral and the soul body. So that's why it's so hard to stop. So when this mechanism is in full swing, the person is haunted and driven by cravings that they feel they cannot control. All severe addictions on the planet are caused by these severe soul fragmentations caused by astral body splitting and therefore damage to the nervous system and later the brain itself. So the critical component in healing addiction is healing the receptors in the brain, the dopamine and the opioid receptors. And so have patience with yourself and have patience with the people that you know that are suffering with addictions, or if you yourself are suffering from addiction, because they say once you make like a conscious choice to get clean, it can literally take 18 months for you to get completely clean and sober, because your brain has to completely reheal and clear your dopamine and opioid receptors in your brain. Because what is chemically happening is every time your dopamine levels are dipping, the brain sends signals to the addictive substance as a craving. So your dopamine levels dip, you get an addictive craving, and then so you require to feed the brain that substance to restore the feeling of dopamine, because you start to associate it with feeling better or numbing out or whatever it is. And so the feeling good chemical is in the neuron receptors. Okay, so that's what you have to focus on healing. That's what you have to talk to yourself and say, I seek to heal the receptors of my brain from addiction. Like, you want to talk to your DNA because you can heal your DNA by talking to it, right? So even things like that, mantras for addiction mantras. this can really help somebody with this, right? With helping to helping the body to also respond to what the mind and the soul and the heart and the spirit is wanting. So therefore, all addictions can ultimately be healed by focusing on brain repair, central nervous system repair, and soul and astral body integration into wholeness, and doing things that would heal your central nervous system. A lot of this also can come through like vitamins and taking like magnesium and things that vitamins that restore central nervous system. So really, we just want to help the masses to move through the blockages and healing addiction problems for so many, because they really hold back our potential. They really block us. And we want people to be able to get healing in addiction. I'm learning about these crises in significance, particularly to our country right now. And so this is really tying into the Gridwork a lot. Again, I don't feel like this is anything anyone should be ashamed of. But we don't get a lot of help for this, and we don't help a lot of, like, people aren't getting the help they need because I think on a collective level, there's a lot of shame and there's a lot of denial around this, of what our sicknesses are, of what our illnesses are. And it's seen as, inferior. It's seen as you're lesser than, you have a problem, you're not a good person, all of these things it's brought upon us. But this is more of that reversal energy that's just going to feed the Lushites and the harvesting energy and the beast machine. So we have to fight back. These are human directed, targeted attacks. So we drown. They want us to drown in our own disgust and immoralism in pain body. This is what they want. So we have to stand up and support the indigos, because I can tell you most of those homeless people that are all drugged out on fentanyl on the streets, that's an extension of our indigo and starseed family. Those are the ones that couldn't make it. Okay, those are the ones that caved. Those are the ones that broke. Those are the ones that didn't have anyone next to them to help or support. And that's not the case for every single one, but I can tell you it's probably a big percentage. It's probably a huge percentage. And so, yeah, I'm just like putting this message out because I think it's really dear to my heart. I think addiction, it impacts every single nuclear family in America. Every single nuclear, in one way or another. Whether it's you yourself, or whether it's your family, or whether it's a family friend or whatever, but this impacts every single person that we know in one way or another. And so we have to work on it. We really do. We have to work on healing and clearing this. It's a huge part of our spiritual work. It's a huge part of our spiritual growth. Okay, guys, so I'm going to wrap up this video for today, but thank you, Divine Sister, for bringing this up in my class. This topic I feel is really dear to my heart. And so I just wanted to be able to talk about it briefly as much as I possibly could. I'm not an expert on this. I've just done a little bit of research around it. And I deal with it within my own family. And so in a lot of different ways, multiple people in my family, actually. So it's something that I've been aware of since I was a little girl. I just didn't know what it was. I just knew that I didn't like what the adults were doing. You know what I mean? And so it's something I've been exposed to since a child, as I think many of you and we all have. And I think it would be good to start incorporating it into our spiritual healing. I think this is what brings a lot of us to spiritual healing. This is what brings a lot of us to the breaking point of the dark night of the soul, is substances, addiction, this weird drive to kill yourself, just take yourself into the oblivion and self-destruct. And then this is when a lot of us have our awakening. So we all know what the real is. You know, it's not all fluffy chakras and ascension and Christed consciousness and unicorns and the angelic kingdom all the time. It's a real thick underworld battle that we're all fighting. And so we just need to wake up. We need to wake up to what we need to do to really help others and get on the right track, right, guys? So yeah. But okay, this was a rant. I love you all so much. I hope you have a beautiful everything. I'll see all my students in class this weekend. You can still sign up for the course, guys. So any late signups, you can still attend the last live classes, and I'd love to have you there. Thank you so much. Namaste, and have a beautiful rest of your day.